Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, course, and your year?
Thank you. I'm Phoebe. I'm studying law and I've just finished my second year at Bournemouth University.
Would you like to tell us your hometown?
So I come from a place called Exeter, just further down south from Bournemouth.
Okay. Can you tell us about your blog?
Yeah, so I started a blog about a month ago called Phoebe's Law Blog. You can find it on Instagram, just to motivate myself and motivate others through their law journey.
Could you remind us of the course you're taking?
I'm taking law.
And why did you choose your course?
I've always been interested in law. It's from a young age, I think, because I always kind of led things. I always wanted to debate things. And I haven't been interested in anything else. And so when, it came to A-levels and UCAS, I thought that was kind of the path for me to take.
And could you remind us of the year you're currently in or just finished?
I've just finished second year.
What have you thought of your course so far for the last 2 years?
It's been really eye-opening. It's been hard. I kind of went to uni with very little understanding about law, about the legal kind of sector. I knew that after I finished my undergrad, there was more studying I had to do. I was unsure what that was. It wasn't really made clear. But so in first year, you study kind of contract and constitutional law, and you're broken in really well, I think. They say there's a lot of further reading to do. I mean, our books, I'm unsure about yours on your course, but our books for law are like this thick. And they say you have to read, you don't. They say read this, read that. And I think over time you learn what you do need to read and what you don't need to read. You get really good at skimming and scanning and saying to your tutors that you've read it and you've kind of skimmed over it. But it's, you're at uni as well for uni, not just for your degree as such. I know some people are, but you kind of learn to socialise too. Over the second year, my first year was breaking into it kind of thing, getting to know the degree, the people, the uni. And then my second year, it was stepped up a bit. We had to do a thing called mooting, which is a practice court scene, which I know a lot of law students are really nervous about doing. I was petrified and it was absolutely fine. You have to stand up in front of about 6 peers and 2 lecturers, and you have to argue a court case. And it sounds really scary, and I was really scared, but no, it was fine. So I want to throw that in there. Don't be scared about mooting, any law students.
Did you come from a sixth form or college background?
I came from sixth form.
And what subjects did you study at sixth form?
So I took, it feels ages ago, I took English language, government and politics and psychology.
Did any of those subjects help you with your course?
I think definitely English language, in terms of varying my vocabulary. You learn a lot over, obviously everyone does English from, a young age, but when you specialise in sixth form, I think you just get inside knowledge that you haven't previously. And also the essay writing in English and the essay writing in government and politics. Law is very essay based. And so getting used to those skills in A-levels, I think that helped me a lot.
What do you think the best A-levels / subjects are for your course?
Definitely essay writing ones. So we didn't have the choice to do like religious studies and that. And I was really keen on doing that because I enjoyed the course, but also it is very essay based. I think any essay based or even problem solving, I mean, maths is different because that's different kind of problem solving, but obviously laws to do with problems and, analytical kind of work. So any essay based and problem solving kind of A-levels, I think would just, I think A-level is very different to uni. So I know that when I was first writing my assignments in year 1, they were like, don't write like you did in A-levels. But I think that knowledge in A-levels does help a lot.
Could you tell us the university you're currently studying at?
I'm at Bournemouth University.
Could you tell us the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University, starting off with the worst?
The worst thing about studying at Bournemouth University. I think, okay, so Bournemouth is kind of like the best and worst thing, but Bournemouth prides themselves on placement years. So a lot of the courses, I think actually maybe every course potentially at Bournemouth Uni have a placement year, which means that we do a sandwich degree. So we do our first and second year, and then our third year we go into the field that we're kind of wanting to go in after uni, or a field of work that we want to explore, and we work for a year, and that goes towards our degree. And I think that can sometimes, I mean, for law it was mandatory until my year, so I was the first year that it became optional. But I know that a lot of other courses like marketing, they still have to do a placement year. And I would probably say that is the worst thing, because I know a lot of my friends in law, they don't necessarily want to go into law. They want the law degree so it opens up many doors for them. They don't necessarily want to go into law. So they've been lucky in the sense of we've had it optional, because if they don't want to go into law, they don't have to go and work in a solicitor's firm for a year, for example. So yeah, I reckon that's probably the worst thing, but obviously the best thing at the same time if that's kind of what you're wanting to do.
Is there anything else that's bad about studying at the Bournemouth University?
Studying side of things, no, I don't think so.
And what about the best things about studying at Bournemouth University?
I think personally for me, the contact with and the friendships, I think as well with my lecturers, like I have really good friendships and relationships with my lecturers. I know I can email them with any issues, whether that be study related or kind of personal related. If I need a hand, I think everyone at Bournemouth is there to help 100%. I think the range of teaching as well from lecturers, like I have lecturers who will just stand at the front of the lecture room and talk at you. I'll have lecturers who just use a PowerPoint and record it so you can go away and watch it, when you're revising for exams. I think that's like one of the best things that I've taken away from my first couple of years.
If we go into accommodation of where you've been for the last 2 years, where did you stay in your first year?
I stayed at Lyme Regis.
Can you tell us what it's like about living at Lyme Regis?
Horrendous. It's awful. No, okay, so it was the best place in terms of I met the best friends at Lyme. Like my best friends that I have now, I met at Lyme, and I would never, if I went back and changed again, I wouldn't, because I think the building falling apart was probably one of the highlights of my first year. But no, okay, so we had so there's 5 of us in our flat, and we had 4 chairs at the table, which I know it's a complete minor thing, but every night we were dragging a desk chair into the kitchen. I know it's a really minor thing. And we had like a really nice living area. Well, I wouldn't say it's really nice, but it was like kind of big, so we could all sit around. And then one night it was kind of going off in the chat that there was flooding, and basically a pipe had burst and it was going through the electrics. People's stuff were getting ruined. The showers, we went about, well, I remember my first ever day at uni. I went into uni and I had to shower in the sink that morning because we had no hot water, and we didn't have hot water for like a month, I think. And then obviously this leaking thing happened. We had water like coming through the electrics. We had the fire brigade there because there's Tesco down below us in Lyme. They got shut down that night because there was water going through them. Yeah, it was a good laugh. It was like I wouldn't change it. It was every day we'd wake up and was anyone got hot water today? Like we were shipped off to Cranbourne to go and have showers in random people's flats because we didn't have showers. Yeah, I know, it was interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't change it in terms of my friends and etc. But I think it got worse this year. I have a feeling I had a friend who's in Lyme this year, and it was 10 times worse apparently, flooding. So yeah. But
second year
I stayed in Winton. We were in a house with 7 girls.
And could you tell us what it was like from going from Lyme Regis obviously to a house with 7 girls?
it was a big change. I think you have a lot more freedom in a house because you don't have the security, you don't have the signing people in, sneaking people in, etc. kind of thing that you do at halls. So there is a lot more independence and a lot more freedom. But I think it's a lot more responsibility too, because that's a house and that is someone's house, and you're renting it. And obviously with halls too, it's, you know, it's you're renting it. But I think with a house, it's very different, because you've got a landlord, etc. You have to sort out your bills. Like, that's another thing. I was very lucky because I had bills included with ours, so we didn't have to worry about that. But I know a lot of second and third years, etc., have to sort out bills and budgeting and all of that.
What do you think the best Bournemouth accommodation is?
Not Lyme.
So for price, and then for what it
Oh, for price. Okay, for price, I think potentially Home Park.
Okay.
I think Home Park's really good. I only went in there a couple of times, but it looks really nice. I've been in there for Prees, I think.
What do you think the best Bournemouth accommodation is overall, not including price? So if we just, if price wasn't an argument.
Oh, okay. I wish. Probably that new Skyline one. I haven't been in there. Or Oxford Point. I think they're pretty good ones.
So if we get into the Bournemouth area, can you tell us about the Bournemouth nightlife?
Oh, it's amazing. Bournemouth nightlife it's like the best thing. There's so many clubs, so many places to go. I think every night of the week there's a student night in at least one club. So I think.
For you.
Say again.
What's the club for you? The must go.
Now you put me on the spot. I think Toast Tuesdays in Revs. I think that's a really good night out.
Toast Tuesday.
But then also in Revolution, but then I also think Cameo Wednesdays when everyone's out at the socials.
I seem to hear Cameo Wednesdays a lot through these.
yeah, they're
what do you
they're
like
interesting
about those two? About Toast Tuesdays? Why is it called Toast Tuesday?
Why is it called Toast Tuesday? It's called Toast Tuesday because they actually give out free toast. I think that's a tactic to sober people up, though.
To sober? Oh, okay.
I think it's to sober people up, but when you're drunk and you've had a few drinks, you don't think of it like that. You just want food. But I think in their heads they've got the idea of sobering you up a bit, which I think is a really good idea.
And Cameo
Wednesday. I think that's just a really fun night. Obviously, if you're part of a society, or if you're not, obviously you can still go. But a lot of societies go every Wednesday to Cameo, fancy dress normally, and it's just a good laugh. Everyone's there.
Compared to where you live, your hometown and Bournemouth, what are the shop varieties like? Have you just got your basic shops, or is there good options of different kinds of shops in Bournemouth?
In Bournemouth, I was obviously you've got the town centre, but I think shopping and parking in Bournemouth, I don't think it's the best at all. I mean, parking I think is horrendous. Like, we had popped down from Winton to, obviously because in second year we had our cars, we'd popped down to the town to do some shopping, and I don't know, we just really didn't like the parking at all.
What was about it?
I don't know, it's just there's not many car parks at all, and if they are, they're not near the town centre. So I personally thought
you have to walk to just go into town, basically. So you might as well just walk into town if you're going to town centre.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you suggest
and then the shops. Say again.
Would you suggest students not to bring their cars to Bournemouth University?
No, I would. If you can, I would bring your car. I think my car was my saviour in second year. I think as well, it makes you more comfortable in the sense of independence again, and you can go home kind of whenever you want to. And then as well, kind of at night, if you have to go somewhere, if you can drive, it's probably better than walking. I have dance rehearsals during the week, and I don't walk, I drive.
And what are the food shops like? Are there a good variety of food shops, or have you just got your basics, like your Nando's, Pizza Hut, or is there good local shops and different varieties of shops?
Noodle bar in Bournemouth. everyone has to try it. It's amazing. I think they've obviously got the Nando's, they've got the Wagamamas, etc. But yeah, noodle bar. That's a must for everyone. Must for everyone.
And is there anything else you think first year students should know about the Bournemouth area?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. One, I want to say in regard to kind of representing the uni, and that sounds really like, kind of boring, but in the sense of, I know there's been a couple incidents. People think that when they're on campus, and at uni, they're, just representing the uni, they come away and come home, come back to halls, etc., and all that responsibility is gone, and it's not. I think when you're at Bournemouth and you're a Bournemouth student, you are responsible for making a good impression for the uni, all that, like 24/7, the whole time. When you're in halls, you're representing the uni. When you're out in the streets, you're representing the uni. There's been a couple stories that I've heard from friends where, there's been an incident, there's been a fight or a disagreement or something. Someone from the public has seen and rang the uni and complained about it, and their position at uni was questioned because of how they acted outside of uni. So I think that's something for everyone to bear in mind, that whether you're on campus or not, you're still representing the uni, which I think some people forget. So and then another thing is, and this is probably like it in every area, but because we go there, you can probably agree with me, it's probably just more known to us. But obviously that whole thing of girls don't go anywhere alone, don't take a taxi on your own, always walk in groups, because there have been some, and I'm not saying it to spook anyone or anything, I personally, touch wood, have never had any of these stories happen to me or any close friends that I know of, but it is around, and I think it's everywhere. Kind of, you just need to be careful of your surroundings. Don't get a taxi on your own, don't walk on your own. And I know it sounds really bad and some people really disagree with me, but if you can, always walk with a boy. And that sounds really bad, and I wish it wasn't the case, and I don't want it to be the case, but I always try and walk with a boy if possible.
Okay. While at university, did you acquire any jobs?
No, so I looked in first year and second year, and I think because there are so many students there, it's just so hard to get a job unless you secure it before you start uni, or during the summer. Now going back into uni, I think it's, once you're there, I think it's really, jobs get snatched up so quickly, it's really hard to find a job. I couldn't for the whole 2 years I was there.
Did you join any societies?
Yeah, so I joined the dance society in my first year and then carried on in my second year.
Can you tell us about the dance society, what you do? Is it fun? Kind of like
Okay. Yeah, the dance society is great. Like, I've met some of my best friends through the dance society. So in first year, you audition, because we compete. So we go to competitions to different unis, but you have to audition every year. And so I auditioned in my first year. It was so scary. You think everyone's watching you, everyone's judging you. And then it wasn't until my second year auditioning where I knew everyone, I was comfortable. You try, I think as a older year, you try and make the freshers as comfortable as possible, because you were in that position, how scary it was, but actually how friendly and how much everyone's in for a laugh, kind of thing. So yeah, we do a load of charity work. We do BU Come Dancing. At what month is that? I think it's like kind of the start. Did we do it in April time? I think it was kind of like April time this year, or March. I think it was mid-March. And we get everyone together in the old fire station, and we have the other societies perform a dance that they've learned over the past few weeks, and that's always a good laugh. Yeah, we raise money for that. We do socials every Wednesday, and then we obviously train and rehearse throughout the week. But societies, I think, kind of get involved in at least one society, definitely.
Could you tell us about Bournemouth Freshers, your experience?
Okay, Bournemouth Freshers, seems like ages ago. No, it was really good fun. There are events on every day, every evening. There are events run through the day, sober events. There are obviously many events at night, kind of nightclubs and things. But we have at Bournemouth, I don't know if it's like anywhere else, but we have Res Life, which is you have, I think it's like 2 or 3 students, elder students in halls, and they run events like throughout the whole year, not just at Freshers Week, but Freshers Week kind of, they get to know you, they run events for you within your halls. Yeah, there's a lot going on in Freshers Week. Just do as much as you can, but don't burn yourself out. We kind of did things every other day. We didn't go out loads, but Freshers Week is a great time to like meet loads of people, make new friends. So yeah, it's a good laugh.
What general advice would you give to students about to start university?
Be yourself, and that sounds so cliche, but when you start uni, I think some people try and put on a front, and it's just completely pointless, because there's 20,000 students at Bournemouth University, and you will find the people who you fit in well with. And I think if you're not yourself, you're going to fit into that group that you're making out that you are. And everyone at uni is so chill. Everyone's there to help you. You make friends in the weirdest of places. I've met friends in lifts. I've met friends, obviously, in nightclub toilets. That's a given. But yeah, no, take every opportunity that you can. Definitely. Don't stress about your course straight away. Have fun. You know, the lecturers are so aware that your first few weeks of uni are going to be probably the biggest 3-4 weeks of your life, getting used to being away from home, being independent, handling your money, making friends, and they're so good with that. I remember on my course, in the first couple of weeks, you know, at the end of every other day or something, we'd all do a quiz, and we'd get in groups that made us speak to people. And that sounds so intimidating and daunting, but you do, and everyone's in the same boat. You talk to each other so well, yeah, and you make friends. But be a like yes man as such, kind of say yes to all opportunities that are sensible, obviously, and yeah, just have fun.
What advice would you give to students about to study at Bournemouth University?
Embrace Freshers Week. Freshers Week's amazing. I think as well, make friends with people in the older years. So obviously don't go out of your way and try really hard, you know, and think down if you haven't. But I think with Bournemouth, everyone is so close together. Like, societies obviously range from first year right the way through to 4th year. And I think making friends with people who've been at Bournemouth a couple of years longer than you, they give you insight, they give you, you know, a hand for anything. And we met, me and my flatmates, we met a group of boys who were in their final year, we were in our first year, and it was just great. They knew kind of things that we didn't know about Bournemouth, and they knew events that were happening that we didn't, kind of thing. And yeah, no, I'd say definitely make friends with older year groups. I think we're really lucky in the sense we've got a campus, so you know, everything's around you when you're on campus. You can't, and just always ask for help. Everyone at Bournemouth, from my experience, I think is so friendly, so helpful, and anyone will help you with anything.
What advice would you give to students about to study your course?
I went into my degree to just do the law degree. I didn't have any, you know, motivation to do really well. I mean, I finished my first and second year with the 2-2 because I just didn't have the motivation to do it. And obviously, since starting my law blog and all of that, that's kind of spurred me on to work really hard. And I now want to come out with a 2-1, whereas before I was just a bit like not really bothered, kind of thing. So yeah, for law, understand that every lecturer delivers their lectures differently, like so differently. And it's hard at first to adapt to that, like really hard. You'll go into one lecture and there'll be someone stood at the front just talking at you, and you've got to, you know, write really fast. And you'll go straight into another lecture where they're talking and they've got a PowerPoint, but what's on the PowerPoint is completely different to what they're talking about. That I found really overwhelming. Definitely do start start assignments early. And I'm sat here saying this because I generally don't. I work well under pressure, so I'll do it, a few days before. But to get the best grades, obviously, do it earlier than you can, because then you can always go back and check it. My course, just thinking, obviously, like I said earlier, don't be scared of mooting. Like, just don't. Everyone's in the same boat. And to help with mooting, we've got a mooting club. Is it a club? I think that they go around and do competitions. So yeah, just get involved. Our lecturers are so helpful. But yeah, just do your research. Don't overwhelm yourself. And before you start uni, don't overwhelm yourself. They send you a bit of work to do. It's not hard. Just kind of have a look at it, do it. And then yeah, with the reading, don't read all the further reading they tell you to do, because you will have no life.
You chose going to university over an apprenticeship plus going right into work. What path did you to make this choice?
So when in my sixth form, we had a thing called core sessions, where we'd have our whole year group in the hall, and would have visitors or speakers come in from who'd been to university, who are just about to start university, ex-students, etc. We didn't really have, in all honesty, apprenticeships kind of shown or spoken to us about. We had uni quite a bit in our face, kind of saying, uni this, uni that, uni this, uni that. And for the students who didn't want to go to uni and they wanted to take the apprenticeship route, there wasn't that much information. And I think I've always wanted to go to uni, always kind of, my mum went to uni, etc. And I've always just liked the idea of it, the social side of things, the independence, and obviously, the degree. But so I think I always wanted to explore it. So yeah, that's probably why.
Can you tell us more about your blog?
Yeah, okay. So obviously, like I said, a month ago, I started it. Generally because obviously we were in lockdown, everything was a bit weird at the minute. And I was really unmotivated, not sure if I wanted to do a placement year or not. I didn't know kind of where I wanted to take my law degree. I knew that I was working at a 2-2, and obviously some law firms kind of look at that and think, and I needed something to motivate me. And I started, I sat on my phone one day and I was looking at the law community that was on Instagram, and it's so much bigger than, I first thought. And I was looking, and there was a lot of people who go to Russell Group universities, a lot of people going around with firsts, got straight A's at A-level. And I think I just kind of wanted to bring a bit of normality into the community. I don't go to Russell Group, I'm working at 2-2. And I just wanted to show people that, with hard work and determination, you can do it and you can get to places. So yeah, I think I wanted to obviously watch other people's journeys, but I also wanted to share mine to bring a bit of like normality towards it. So I upload posts every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And then I'm very active on my stories, chatting to everyone and seeing how they feel. And yeah, it's a really good community, as a lot of study communities are. So yeah, no, it's just very transparent and very real, kind of everyday kind of things.
What can a student expect from you, and if they go onto the blog today? What can they expect?
Again, sorry.
What can a student expect to see on the Instagram when they go on? If they right now?
So on Mondays, I upload a bit about motivation, so getting yourself ready for the week. How to kickstart the week right as such. Obviously, there isn't a right way, but getting themselves going for the week. And then Wednesdays, I do a post about work days. So I'll do a bit about a piece of work that I'm working on, work that I've done. So one of my first ever posts was about me in the lifeboat. So when I was 14, I was in the lifeboat for about a year and a half, and I wrote about that experience. And then on Fridays, we just do kind of like an uplifting, it's the weekend kind of thing, chatting about, I'm starting to do planning some live sessions and stuff, just, getting people involved and getting people talking. And I think it's connecting as well. Like networking is such a big thing that I didn't realize, especially in the law community. Like LinkedIn, you know, I started that similar time as my blog. And I think it was kind of, you know, that I try and be as transparent and real as possible. If you go into my blog, you'll see I'm very open and I'm very honest. Yesterday I had no motivation, wasn't energized, kind of laid around all day, and you know, my followers knew that I wasn't going to put on a front and do a load of work that I wasn't in the right mindset to do. So you know, it's very real on there and very transparent. But
so at this point, we let students kind of have what I like to call a free for all. You can say what you like about what you want. You could give advice. You could put your at. You could say thank you. You could tell us a story. You could literally say what you want about what you like. The floor is yours.
Okay. So I think a big one for me is, it's a quote that a girl told me the other day through my blog. We got talking and she said, don't measure yourself using someone else's ruler. And I think that's really important and a very important thing at uni. At uni, you will be better at something than others are. For example, I'm a very confident public speaker, so I can speak and get higher grades in my public speaking kind of modules than I do in essays. And then my friend, for example, could get worse in their public speaking but better in essays. And I think comparison and comparing yourselves to other people is so dangerous. And you know, everyone does it. Everyone, results come out, people are, oh, what do you get, how do you do, kind of thing. And I think that's a big thing, not to compare yourself. A 2-2 is just as good as a 2-1. You know, you'll have qualities that you don't. You know, I on my blog, I've put up a post about it. I was featured in another girl's Instagram, Uni Girls Network, and I just said that if someone comes out with a first class degree and you know they can tell you the square root of 461 in 0.6 seconds but can't hold a conversation with a client, then why does that make them any less intelligent to the person who came up with 2-2 but can hold a conversation? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what I always try and look at, and I look at it at that angle, that just because you can't do that as well doesn't mean that you can do something else just as well. And I think that's probably my advice to anyone going into uni. Go in, have fun, work as hard as you can, but at the end of the day, don't. And it's a human thing. Everyone does. You know, you'll get results back, and your friends will get better than you, and you're just like, oh, I didn't do as well. And then you have to remind yourself that you're not them. You know, you did better in X, Y, and Z, and they didn't do as well. And no one will ever be able to take away, you know, your personable skills and the way you hold yourself. So I think, yeah, definitely try your hardest going into uni, and throughout uni, not to compare yourself, because it sounds so cliche, but your journey is yours. Do you know what I mean? It's no one else's. And, you know, I think that's a really important thing for people to remember.
Where can we find you?
So I'm on Instagram. Sorry, on Instagram, I'm Phoebes at Phoebes Law Blog, PHOEBES Law Blog. And yeah, you'll be able to see me. I think my bio is incoming placement student, second year student. I've put this on there as well, so you'll be able to see.
And your LinkedIn?
Yeah, my LinkedIn is in my bio of my law blog, so they're both there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.